I'm going to show you how I plan all of this content that I did for the first quarter in 2023. Stay tuned to the very end because I'll show you how you can get this Notion template absolutely for free. My name is Jenny, and on my channel, I share purpose-driven productivity from my work as a productivity coach, as well as a Notion certified consultant. So some of the goals that I have for my first quarter of this year was to get some weekly videos out on my YouTube channel, and I also wanted to turn that core content of YouTube videos and distribute those on my other channels such as Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts as well. The last goal that I had was to keep everything organized by topic so that I know that I was adding a little bit to all of these different buckets that I wanted to hit. So the different views that I have from my Notion template include scheduled, which is filtering out only the items that have a published date. I also have a calendar to see all of the different pieces of content when they're scheduled to go out throughout all of my different channels, which I really love because it gives me a full context of what am I talking about in all of these different places. The third item that I have is like the full topic list of everything with all of the different ideas. I also have ones that are published currently, so the status is set to published, and they're also divided and grouped by channel so that I could see all the YouTube pieces of content that have been published, Instagram, etc. Status is one where you can click and drag depending on what progress they are in. I don't use that, but if you're working with someone who might find value in it, I think it's always a useful view to have. And the last one that I have is awareness and pillars, which is almost matrix style of different levels of awareness of somebody on your customer's journey, as well as different pillars for what I'd like to talk about on my channel. And when developing this system, the first thing that I utilized was toggle feature on databases, which is something that they released early on, maybe even before January of this year. So I believe that was like some sort of experiment to see like, oh, okay, if I have the main YouTube video connected there, and then I can have all of the micro content linked to those so that I can keep organized throughout my week and I'm not overrun by all of the micro content that I have to do. The other thing that I used was relation properties to the pillars to make sure that instead of using tags to make sure that I'm hitting the pillars, I'm using a relation because then I can get a little bit more information from those pillars to my videos. So I don't have to rewrite the same keywords or the same summary, and I can also count the number of videos and pieces of content that are included in that particular topic. So talking about the process of getting these videos out there, the very first thing that I did was I was ideating, I was putting out all these ideas based off of what I've seen, any questions that I received from my clients, and I would throw those ideas into the database and I would assign ideas to them. That's the default so that new items get added. And from there, I would go and schedule them. So then I think like I had so many different ideas that I didn't even know where to start. And so I didn't really act upon them until I assigned a published date. So the version that I have now on the script is something of a combination of different types of tables. Sometimes I'll use a table that is a simple table block on Notion. Other times I'll use a full database. What I really like about this is that it can wrap all of the different text together and I can rearrange different blocks if I wanted to see and play with the flow of the video and what I wanted to say. Most of what I've included in my script was a general outline of what I wanted to say. There was this previous video where I was able to script out verbatim what I wanted to say and what I actually said. And that made me feel a little bit more comfortable because I use Character Animator to actually be myself and I didn't have to talk on camera. What's great about having your script already or your outline already prepared for you in this system, especially for something like Notion, is that it makes it really easy for when you're filming because you can just keep the outline there. Like I have it right here in front of me for this video, and it's pretty useful because I can make changes on my computer and also come into my iPad and make those changes really effectively. Having it here with filming also helps with creating timestamps, because if you have the outline and you know what videos we've shot, you're able to kind of wrangle in all of the different versions of the video shots together for the edit that will eventually live in the description of the table of contents too. And then for sharing, when you're actually posting the YouTube video, I always like to keep the URL or the link to the video in this page so that as I'm linking to other people or other places, I'm able to keep all of the most important links and captions, titles, even thumbnails here so that I can reference this Notion page instead of all of my other places that could potentially have the file. I do use Dropbox with my Notion because that's where I can keep my motion files. I can access it on my phone and download files and images very quickly and easily. But if you don't have something like Dropbox or not using some sort of file management system, you could use Notion, but I don't know how easy it would be for you to get the files that you need. So since we're almost at the end of the first quarter of this year, I'm actually going to be going through all of my high performing videos and change the status of the ones that I think are doing well and shift them to review to see what made them excel. Like, what are all these data points? I keep that at the very end, toggled underneath the review section so that it's only visible when I'm ready to see it. And sometimes I even delete the toggle so that it's visible right when I land on the page, especially if that's what I'm currently working on. As a show of thanks for getting to this point in the video, you can get this template for free on my website by using this code FREE23 when you check out. The pros are, this was really useful in helping me get content across the finish line. When you have YouTube videos and different Instagram posts or reels, or YouTube shorts, or even some TikTok videos, all of that together can feel very overwhelming. Because I was only focused on the main core content, which was the YouTube videos, it was easier for me just to focus on what that strategy was about which topics to choose, and then have all of those ideas filter out into smaller posts. This made my content a complete no-brainer. It was just get stuff out based off of what we've already created, and I was able to share those from the content that we shot. And whenever we shot a piece of YouTube content, this one included, there are a lot better execution, a little bit more production behind it, and it doesn't take more time to create because it does drive people to see the YouTube videos or vice versa. One of the big cons with this system is that instead of pulling from the list of existing ideas that I had, I started adding in ideas throughout the quarter, so I never really budged on the ideas that were sitting in there. So I even had to hide a lot of the views that I created because there were just too many ideas of videos that I didn't even look at because I was coming up with new ideas all the time. So I had to get rid of a lot of the different views so I wouldn't be so overwhelmed with the amount of ideas that I had. Hopefully this video helps encourage you to implement a core content marketing strategy. If you'd like to see what my Notion workspace looks like for the beginning of this year, check out this video where I walk through the whole workspace, and I will see you in the next one.